She showed up with 3 men I'd never laid eyes on before. Big, rough-looking guys climbed out of her SUV like they owned the whole block. Karen jabbed her finger at my house and barked, "That man refuses to join the HOA. Make him sign right now or drag him out." One of them cracked his knuckles, grinning like it was already settled. My dog, a trained K9, waited on the porch, growling low with his ears back. They laughed, calling him a mutt, but I didn't crack a smile. Leaning against the shotgun by my door, I said calmly, "Take 1 step closer, and you'll regret it." Karen sneered, clutching her phony HOA binder like it was scripture. "This is HOA property now, and my rules apply," she shouted, but her voice wavered. The biggest of the thugs started forward, and my dog lunged with a bark so fierce the man froze. Doubt spread across their faces. Karen slapped a fake notice onto my gate. "You're evicted as of today," she declared, waving the paper like it carried weight. I didn't flinch. I just smiled. Funny, because the sheriff already knows you're trespassing. Sirens wailed in the distance, right on cue. Karen's false bravado slipped. The muscle turned to her, waiting, but she was pale now. She hadn't counted on me calling for backup before she arrived, and she definitely didn't expect who was about to show up. A patrol car pulled in fast, red and blue lights flooding the street. Karen froze like a deer in headlights, though her thugs still puffed their chests. The sheriff stepped out, hat tipped low, hand resting near his holster. Karen rushed toward him, shrieking, "Sheriff, arrest that man. He refuses to follow HOA law, and he threatened us with a weapon." The sheriff didn't even glance at her. He walked straight to me, shook my hand, and spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. "You holding up all right?" Karen's jaw dropped. "What? Why are you siding with him? He's breaking the rules," she snapped. The sheriff finally turned to her, eyes hard. "Lady, there is no HOA here. This land is county property, and I already warned you about pretending to be an official." One of the thugs jumped in. She said he was squatting. The sheriff cut him off, pulling a folder from his cruiser. He held up the deed, my name stamped and sealed on it. "This man legally owns every inch of this property." Karen's face went ghostly. She lunged for the paper, but the sheriff pulled it back. "Touch this again, and you'll be charged with tampering with evidence." Silence fell. Only my K9 kept growling. The thugs shifted, realizing they weren't the muscle at all. They were pawns. And for once, Karen looked like the one about to be thrown out. Karen tried to recover, her voice breaking. "Sheriff, you don't understand. He threatened me with a loaded gun. He pointed it at us." She clutched her throat like she was a helpless victim. The thugs nodded, feigning outrage. "Yeah, he was ready to shoot." The sheriff stayed calm, staring at me. "You got the footage?" he asked. I grinned, pulled my phone from my pocket, and handed it over. Karen's eyes widened. "Footage? What footage?" The sheriff tapped the screen. Under the flashing lights, the video played. Karen's SUV pulling up, her barking orders, her thugs marching toward my porch while I stayed calm, shotgun never raised. Then her own voice rang out as she slapped that fake eviction on my gate. "Make him sign, or drag him out." The sheriff raised the volume so the neighbors watching from porches could hear every word. Whispers spread. A woman muttered, "She's been lying this whole time." Karen's mask cracked. She lunged for the phone, but my K9 barked so fiercely she stumbled back into her own thug. The sheriff popped open his cuffs. "Enough lies. Enough games. Impersonation. Harassment. Trespassing. How deep you want this to go, Karen?" For the first time, she was speechless. The thugs began backing away, realizing they were in over their heads. The sheriff didn't cuff her immediately. Instead, he pulled out another document stamped with the county seal. He raised it high. "Karen's been mailing out fake HOA letters for months. I've had a pile of complaints land on my desk. She's been pocketing money, threatening eviction." Gasps rippled through the crowd. One neighbor shouted, "She took $200 from me for lawn violations." Another yelled, "She locked me out of my garage till I paid cash." The sheriff's jaw tightened. That money never went to an HOA. It went straight into her account. Karen's eyes darted around, panicked. That's not true.
Lies.
Slander. But her thugs were already backing away, like she was toxic. One muttered, "Lady, you didn't say this was illegal." The sheriff stepped closer, voice low but carrying. "You tried to run a fake government in my county. That ends tonight." He turned to me nodding. "You've been more patient than most." Karen shook her head violently, her voice shrill. "You can't arrest me. I am the HOA. I make the rules here." But no one believed her anymore. Neighbors who had stayed silent now recorded every word. She realized her power was gone, not because of me, not even because of a sheriff, but because her own lies had cornered her. Her eyes went wild. She snatched her fake binder from the SUV, waving it overhead. "This is legal authority," she screamed. Then, shockingly, she hurled it at my K9. The dog dodged, teeth bared, the crowd gasping. "Enough," the sheriff barked, stepping forward. But Karen wasn't finished. She yanked a cheap plastic badge from her purse, waving it like it meant something. "See? I'm authorized, deputized by the county." Her voice was desperate, cracking. The sheriff studied it, then burst out laughing, sharp and cold. "That's a toy badge. Congratulations, you just committed another felony. Impersonating law enforcement." He flashed his real badge beside hers, the difference humiliating. Phones captured every second. Karen lunged for my shotgun, maybe hoping to twist the story, but my K9 launched forward, blocking her. She tripped in the dirt, clutching the fake badge, face red and slick with sweat. This time the sheriff didn't hesitate. He seized her wrists, snapped the cuffs on, and read her rights loud enough for all to hear. The thugs froze until he turned to them. "You want to go down with her?" They raised their hands and backed away. "We didn't know. We're done." The street buzzed with cheers and cameras. Karen's authority shattered in an instant. But even in cuffs, she wouldn't shut up. She twisted around, glaring at me with venom. "You think this is over? Locking me up changes nothing. I have people above the sheriff. Real power." She demanded, "Give me my phone." The sheriff shook his head. "Not happening." But a deputy pulled it from her bag, searching for evidence. Karen smirked.
"Good. Put it on speaker."
"Let them hear." Against his better judgment, the sheriff did. Maybe to shut her down for good. She dialed quickly, muttering, "You'll regret this." A man's voice answered. "Karen, what now? You were supposed to keep this quiet." The crowd fell silent. Karen shouted, "They're arresting me." "You promised protection." The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "Who is this?" The man laughed nervously, then hung up. Too late, his voice carried. Half the crowd recognized it instantly. Whispers shot through. "Wasn't that Councilman Briggs? The county official?" The sheriff's face hardened.